Welcome back to Grit and Gut Podcast, where toughness talks. The grit, the grind, the gut, and the greatness, all things wrestling. I'm your co-host, Coach Craig Van Dyke.
And I'm Mike Harbison, and today we got a special guest with us. We got Brandon Precin, the 62-kilogram gold medalist from the Veterans World Championship just this last year. Yeah, round of applause for that. He was in the A group, so he was part of the Young Bucks. So, yeah. Pretty cool, though.
Yeah, Mike. So before we get into talking to Brandon, I got to tell you, just this last week, I saw the movie Standout, Ben Care's movie,
Oh, yeah.
Documentary about his life. We had a pre-screening down here in San Diego. Boy, it was awesome. It's coming out in theaters. You got to remember 1, 2, 3, January 23rd. It's going to be out in theaters. I highly recommend everyone see that. Tells the story of his life. Very inspirational. And man, that I've known Ben for a few years now. I was learning more about his life and just what an awesome guy he is, the way he extends grace to people who maybe, don't deserve it. And that's really what grace is, right? That's something we don't deserve. But what an amazing movie. Tons of his family came out here to support that movie. And guess who had a little part in that movie up on the awards stand was our guest today, Brandon Precin. He took third at the NCAAs the year Ben took fourth. So, Brandon, before we jump into it, I just want to ask you about that match with Ben and other matches you may have had and just your relationship with Ben. Tell us a little bit about wrestling Ben Care.
Absolutely. I mean, he's always been a hard-nosed wrestler, and I mean, we've traded wins and losses with each other. Every time we've wrestled, it's been just a straight-up battle. I mean, he comes in prepared every time, and for the third place match, I mean, at that point, I think we were both just wrestling our hearts out, and I think, we both wrestled with heart. That was the biggest thing, and so after that match, I mean, there was a big round of applause from the whole arena. It was pretty cool to see, and everybody was just in a good, positive spirit. So it was awesome to see.
That's pretty
cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And so you guys had multiple matches with each other, right? Do you remember how many you guys had and how they all went?
Yeah, I want to say we wrestled maybe, I want to say 3 or 4 times at least, and so like I said, we traded wins and losses. I think we're about even, but I mean, he had a really nasty front head pinch, and I think I still taste blood from it. So.
All right. Well, hey, so Brandon, as Mike mentioned, he was a veteran world champion this year in freestyle 62 kilos. Hey, prior to that, he wrestled on the senior level. He was a freestyle national champion in 2011. He finished third in the 2010 senior world team trials, earning a spot on that national team. He qualified for the 2012 U.S. Olympic trials. Before that, he went to Northwestern, great student there, great career. He's in the top, I think, 3 with all-time wins there at Northwestern, had 3 All-American finishes, 7th, 3rd, and 3rd. And before that, had a great high school career there in Illinois, 2-time state champion. So full of accolades, was Midlands champion. And as you guys know, the Midlands, especially back then, wow, what an incredible tournament that was. So Brandon won that twice, Big Ten finalist twice. And I believe in that NCAA's or that year, your last year, I think your losses all came to Matt McDonough. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that was another one of those scenarios where every time that we went out, it was going to be a battle. And even to this day, I still get chills thinking about it because I mean we were both neck and neck, and Big Ten finals, NCAA semifinals, just real exciting matches. And I mean it didn't go my way, but to just be in the thick of the battle like that was just really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brandon, I was really honored to be part of the coaching staff at the Veteran World Championships this year. Tell us a little bit about your journey coming back to the mat, because I think you retired around 2012 time frame. You can correct me on that, but you decided to make a comeback. Tell us about that journey, because hey, you didn't just step on the mat and go wrestle, right? There's some preparation that goes into that. Tell us about that.
What do you mean journey. You didn't do like what I did? You just didn't jump right back out there and just give it a whirl?
No. Yeah, 0 to 60. That's tough. That's tough.
Dude, it is brutal.
So I wrestled in the 2012 Olympic trials. I wrestled all the way up to 2015. Retired then, and I've always kind of had my hand in wrestling at some point. It's just been kind of wild because, like, I always kind of had that thing in the back of my mind, like maybe I should compete again. And um, but I was thankful that as a college coach, I was able to spar with the athletes, and I was coaching at North Central at the time. I had a younger brother who was a two-time NCAA Division III champion, so I was his practice dummy for the most part. And and then I worked with a lot of the girls and the boys there, and they kind of twisted my arm, kept asking me, "Hey, coach, like, why don't you compete?" I'm like, I don't know. And so eventually I gave in, and here I am. So just to kind of go back on how this all started, I was 180 pounds. And so, I mean, not in good shape and just bad habits and things like that. So it was probably December of 2024 where I really decided that, hey, like, I'm going to do this. And, I kind of made myself do it. I signed up for the open, and that kind of gave me something to train for. So,
Yeah.
um, so it was probably about the process of 3 or 4 months where I lost 40 pounds. Again.
Wow.
Yeah. And how did it feel when you got into the open and wrestling, like with the guys you wrestle against, the camaraderie, like the whole environment and stuff like that? Like, how did it feel coming back into wrestling and then being around those guys?
It felt great. And I mean, when I got there, I really had no expectations as to how
Hmm.
I was going to do. I mean, for me, it was kind of a crapshoot. I just wanted to be out there.
Yep.
Um, and But what was awesome was just seeing the kids that I coached. I was competing alongside them, and they were cheering for me. And I
Yeah.
think they were more thrilled that I was out there again. You know,
Yeah.
and kind of a funny story. So again, bringing up my brother, I coached him for a long time, and I got to sit Matt's side when he won the title. So, I told him, like, hey, after all these years, can you do me a favor? Can you coach me? And so, yeah,
Wow,
he,
that's
he
so
went
cool.
full
That's
throttle. He
awesome.
he was my practice dummy, and he coached me in the corner with Joe Norton, who coached both of us to national championships, which is
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
That's super
That's
cool.
that's
Now,
great.
did
And
any of
and
your
hey,
did
you're
any of your wrestlers did any of your wrestlers critique you at all in any of your matches, like my kids did me when they watched me wrestle? They're like, "Oh, Dad, that was a nice takedown, but you should have done this." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so it was funny, hearing it from my younger brother critiquing me because I'm
Yeah.
always kind of the one, telling him things. And one of the things that, as an older brother, like when we got in the car, I always had to take that coaching hat off and just
Yep.
be his brother. So
Yep.
that's kind of a hard thing to do, especially with family. And that's a tough thing to do, but that I had to because my relationship with him was important.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure. For sure.
absolutely. So, hey, Brandon, your path to a U.S. Open title this past year, it was not easy. In the
No.
finals, you had to wrestle another great wrestler, Tyler Graff. Very
Oh
close
yeah.
match. Graff won a Veterans World title last year, so you had to beat the reigning world champ in the U.S. Open finals. Then, unfortunately, I coached that team. Boy, when we saw the brackets come out at Veteran Worlds, you as a competitor, it's like, hey, you wrestle who's in front of you, no matter first round,
Oh
second round,
yeah.
whatever. Me as a coach, I hated seeing both you and Tyler on the same side of the bracket. And not only that, we had another awesome returning world medalist, Shiwi, on that same side of the bracket, man. And so you had to go through in the semifinals. You had to go through the returning veteran world champion and Tyler Graff. So talk us through those couple of matches
And that was a pretty tight
and
match
how
too. It was
those
like
went.
4-2, I think, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, leading up to it, I mean, I wasn't sure if Tyler was competing or not. But I knew if he was going to, it was going to be a tough match. And I mean, he trains hard, and
Yep.
he's always bringing his A game. Actually, funnily enough, years ago, I mean, he beat the crap out of me. I was wrestling up a weight class. I should have not been up there, but I mean, he just beat the tar out of me. So,
Mm.
not that that had anything to do with it. I actually
Yeah.
kind of forgot about it until I looked back at old results. But
It was
and
that bad of a match. You were just like, ooh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wiped it out of the
But
memory. Yeah.
yeah. So going into it though, I knew that if I want to do this, I have to train. Like, I mean, there's
Yeah.
other people like him possibly. So I mean, I wasn't necessarily training for him, but I knew that the caliber of people coming in were gonna be tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then how would you talk about the match a little bit, your
Yeah.
semifinals match, and then also go ahead and segue right into the finals after that.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, semifinals match. I had wrestled him at the U.S. Open, so
Yep.
and I knew that like coming into the semifinals match, he was gunning for me. I mean,
Yep.
I had a target at my back at this point, so at that point, I knew I had to up my training, and going into that semifinals match, he was. I had a feeling he was going to come off right off the bat,
Yeah.
attacking me, and sure enough, he did. Shot right off the bat, and so I was fortunate that I got a 4-pointer, so that kind of helped me be in the driver's seat. So that changed that dynamic of the match, going forward. So at that point, he had to attack me and be on the offense.
Yeah, and Brandon, I'm just going to apologize. I had to throw a challenge out there. I was trying to get my man Tyler some points on that single pole. I know it wasn't intentional, but I'm like, hey, we got to try. I got to try to make this a match. I got to, I do the same thing for you,
absolutely.
Of course.
And and I know I didn't take that personally. He needed a coach, and I mean that's part of the sport. And it's funny because I mean obviously my intention was not to pull on the singlet, but I was trying to get a push out, and I forget how it happened, but somehow my hand dragged down and it caught his singlet. So
absolutely.
And that's the worst too, especially when you don't it's not intentional at all, right? But it just catches it just right. And it's so obvious that they're just like, oh, you're like, oh, come on.
And as soon as it happened, I pointed at George. I'm like, I knew exactly
it's like, man.
Yeah. Well, so Brandon, after that, of course,
I had my arm stuck in the guy's singlet and they don't stop it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
I was like, that's hard for me to really argue against that.
Yeah. So Brandon, take us to the finals then. Who are you wrestling against, or what country, and take us through that finals match?
So I was wrestling Mongolia in the finals, and it was funny because I knew that he wanted to win just as bad as I did, and trying to maybe scout him a little bit, and I find videos of him wrestling horses. So that was the scouting report I got on him.
Oh my god,
dude! You gotta love those Mongolians. He's probably wrestling a horse, taking one hand and an unfiltered cigarette in the other, and just killing it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wrestling horses. Yeah. Okay.
So.
Oh my gosh. So what was the final score of that match, Brandon?
I
6-2.
believe 6-2.
Yep.
And and it was nice because I was controlling the center of the mat, and I got the shot clock point, and then a push out, and then as soon as I got a 4-pointer from a knee pick, that kind of, in my opinion, sealed the match. And so at that point, all I needed to do was just hold good position and stay the course. And even if he took me down, he would have had to turn me 3 more times. I really was doing the math in my head. So.
And overall, how would you what were some fun moments at the Vet Worlds, different things like that? What were some of the kind of off the mats, behind the scenes moments for you that were kind of, cool moments, or, things that really stuck to you?
Yeah. So, I mean, just the amount of camaraderie between the guys, just everybody hanging out and having fun. And, John, who you mentioned earlier, he was a big help for me, we both got down the weight together, and good travel companion. So it was kind of cool to be able to do stuff like that with people that we competed against, but now we're friends off the mat. So that was pretty cool. And seeing Budapest in person, I spent the last 2 days out there and just went sightseeing, and I mean, it's just everything's immaculate. There's no stone left unturned. Lots of history.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Budapest is a beautiful city. I don't know if you took the river cruise. All these days coaching, I only got 3 hours in Budapest. Luckily, I've been there before, but the river cruise is great. That Parliament building's just fantastically huge.
Yeah, it's wild.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So, I mean, I probably blew up my phone as far as the amount of storage I have left on it now. So, I took a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
So Brandon, take us through the emotion of representing your country and being able to carry that flag around after you won the championship, and then being on the top of the podium hearing our national anthem play.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was one thing. Is like, I've done a lot in my wrestling career. I had a lot of success, and I mean, just one thing that I've never done before is hold that flag above my head, and I really, really wanted that more so than anything else.
Yeah.
And so, like, when that finally happened, I mean, I was in tears. I was crying. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a dream come true for me after
Awesome.
almost 30 years of wrestling.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was awesome to see that moment for you and share a little bit of that. And man, the even your whole team behind you, man, we're all just so excited for
Oh,
you,
yeah.
rooting for you, and celebrating that win with you.
I appreciate it. You guys were a big help, and just feeling that energy from you guys was, that was a big help for me. I fed off of that.
Awesome.
Well, and then too, probably a lot of flood of that emotion too is thinking back of, you thought you were done wrestling. You thought this was
Yes,
not going to ever be a chapter in your life again, right? It kind of got out of
correct.
shape, different things like that. And then, you think about that journey, right? That grind that you had to do to get back into it, and that motivation. I'm sure that played a factor too in those emotions as well, right?
Absolutely, because I mean, this was um, a chance for me to do things right, do things
Yeah.
the right way. And I in high school and college, I cut weight stupid. I did things the wrong way. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I mean, I had everything dialed in, and didn't take shortcuts. So that was for me, kind of a redeeming feature of the veteran. So I was very happy with myself more so than anything else as far as how I prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
very
awesome. That's
cool.
awesome. All right, so I got a couple questions for you
Yeah.
here. All right. So, first question, what's the toughest match or moment in your wrestling career that taught you the most about yourself?
It's a good question because there's a few different ways I could go about this.
Uh-huh.
But I'm actually gonna backtrack and go to um I would say my 7th grade year
Okay.
of and I was in the state semifinals and I lost a heartbreaker in overtime, and then I think after that point I just I decided I did not want to lose anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. Like I'm going to summer camps, I'm doing extra training, morning workouts, you name it. So I think that was kind of a big motivating factor for me.
Yeah.
In 8th grade I won a state title, and I kind of had a similar deal go on uh after my sophomore year of high school, where I took third freshman sophomore year, and same deal. I'm like, same situation. I
Yeah.
don't want to lose. Like I'm tired of this. And I really hunkered down, and I actually uh went up a weight. So my junior and senior year I decided I wasn't gonna cut weight anymore. I'm just gonna focus on training hard, and I ended up winning 2 state titles. So and it's kind of a similar thing with this, right? I cut a little weight. When I say cut a little weight, like after the open, I did a much better job of staying within arm's reach. Um, but I suffered a little bit. But I was eating every day. I was having water. I mean, I wasn't killing myself. So, and I think being able to, you know, train and worry about training rather than being a professional weight cutter, I think went a long way for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so your 7th and 8th grade, your state was Illinois, correct?
Correct.
Growing
Yes.
up, yeah. So was your 7th and 8th grade state? Because I went to state in 8th grade in Illinois, because I'm a fellow Illinois guy. Um, was it still in the was that Peters? Was it Petersburg Porta, like out in the middle of the cornfield? And
It
there's like
it
that high
was.
school that's right there.
Yeah, we had it in Carbondale.
Oh, okay.
Carbondale.
All
So
right. So they must have
Southern
moved it
Illinois.
by
Yeah.
then. Yeah. When
Yeah.
I was, man, it was like you're driving, there's this cornfield, and all of a sudden there's like this huge school. You're just like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Like, that's where our
Yeah.
state was. But then, two, second part, the Illinois state championships, the Walk of Champions, right? The Parade of
Yes.
Champions. Oh
Correct.
my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's anything better in high school wrestling.
Oh no way. I mean, it's like,
Bro.
and even to this day, like I mean, I still like get chills thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like a surreal moment, like just burnt in my brain.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and going into that match, like all my state finals matches, I kind of looked at it this way: like, worst case scenario, I get second place.
Yep.
Worst case scenario,
Yeah.
that's great.
Oh yeah. Especially in Illinois, that's a hard state
Yeah.
to place in, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
All
but
right.
yeah, the whole experience was awesome, though.
Yeah. So, second question:
Yes.
if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of wrestling advice, what would it be?
Learn to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And because there's times, especially in college, where say I won the Midlands, and at that point I was just focused on the next thing
Yeah.
rather than relishing my win and just taking it all in, because
Yeah.
it goes by quick, as we all know, and sooner and later, like, you'll be like, well, what happened? Like, this is
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So I think enjoying the process, I know we talk about trusting the process, enjoying the process, but being present instead of just worrying about what happened in the past or in the future. And that's something I think I would have done better. And then also, cutting weight doesn't have to be a miserable experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do it right.
My
and
initial
it's
thought
not
was
as
that
bad.
was what you were going to talk about, was cutting weight, but both of those were good points. But yeah.
yeah.
Those are
So
awesome. So, couple things to wrap up, Brandon. I know you have some elevator knowledge. You're pretty knowledgeable about elevators. If you were stuck on an elevator, I got two things. Now, the second one's really important, but the first one is, who would you want to be stuck in that elevator with? And number two, how do you establish the P corner? What corner do you choose for the P corner in elevator?
oh man. So as far as someone who I would like to get stuck with, it's someone who I think could make me laugh. Someone who
Yeah.
I could just talk about anything, because you know what? At that point, if I'm stuck, I can't help you either, because we're stuck. But I know who to call. I know who to call. But yes,
That's awesome.
but yeah.
All right.
So
Does any one person come to mind, or a couple people come to mind that would be good in there with you?
I would say my family. I mean, they,
Yeah.
I have a
Okay.
good time with them, and it's just, I
Awesome.
know it's a little corny, but yeah, I have a good time with them. We make the best of it.
Awesome.
And then as far as a P corner, oof, um, I would recommend not going towards the buttons.
That's great advice. Hey,
Listen, next
Yeah.
year, next year in Jordan, if we got someone peeing in the elevator, Craig, I'm coming after you first, bro. Like, you're the guy right now, because that was so random and odd. I'm just like, I don't know where we're going here, but
there's a little something to it. Brandon actually is an elevator expert, and
yeah.
he knows about him. So there's a little connection there. But hey, to wrap it up, Brandon, give us some advice for guys like you that maybe thought they hung them up, but are considering doing the U.S. Open, considering joining the veteran side of things. Give them some encouragement to do that. I got to give a shout out. We need more Greco guys. The team, we won a freestyle world title as a team.
Yeah.
Of course, Brandon was a big part of that. But we took fourth in Greco, and we want to win back Greco. We won it a couple years ago, 2 years in a row, and haven't quite been back on top yet. So we need more Greco guys. But for all the guys, Brandon, that are thinking about doing this, what do you have to say to them?
I would say absolutely do it. I mean, that's a chance for you to, maybe achieve a goal or a dream that, you weren't previously able to. And a lot of guys who are thinking about it are coaches. They still
Yep.
spar with their athletes, so they may be feeling a little, froggy. And so, I mean, why not? Give it a shot, and, you might surprise yourself.
Awesome.